Man,
Oh, that's me and Diego right there.
That's you and Diego.
Yeah, we got to talk about that one next.
That was like I was trying to work my head kicks right there, and that's what happened right at the gate.
I was there at this fight. This was fun. This was a fun one.
Yeah, man, it's awesome.
As we pull that one up, I gotta talk about this Diego Sanchez one because this is like one of the best highlights I think the UFC's seen. I mean, this fight was incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing because, I'm part of the history books because of it. When it comes to MMA, it's fun because, people will post this and they'll be like, I'm inspired today, or, they'll put some video.
I think Gil inspired these little thug shorts back in the day. The first to rock these little mini shorts.
Yo, I didn't want to wear the tights, man. I used to wear flower shorts. Everyone had the like bad boy Valetudo shorts. I was like, I'm not going to wear those. I'm not going to wear those bad boys, but I like to tailor the shorts a little bit there.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about this fight. They talk about round 2. They talk about round 3. They talk about just the all-out war when Diego's blood is just coming out of his left eye and kind of like everything you were landing right here, that cut above his eye. Do you remember this fight? Do you remember a lot of
course I
moments
do.
from it?
Of course. I remember hitting him and with everything I got and him just being Diego. Look how crazy he is, man. I was like, this guy will not go down, And when they had that cut, I was like, all right, they're going to stop it. Awesome. But they didn't. I'm happy though, again, like I said, I'm in the history books. I just did UFC Noche and they did like a whole tribute, a really cool highlight of it. And you're like, that's what the Mexican fighting spirit is. I was like, this is awesome. And I feel like it's a little bit of that, that Diego Corrales fight. You see that where he gets knocked down and comes up. It's like kind of motivation. I feel like we're the MMA version of it. And it's great to be in the history books because of it. And yeah, man, good moment for the career right there.
This is great.
What's happening with you and the Scrap Packs cardio that you guys were able to just keep going no matter what? I feel like Nate Diaz the same way.
Those guys were the first guys who were really doing the triathlons and running distance. And when I first box sparred them, I was like, I thought I was in shape, but I realized I kind of wasn't. And they were really voluming guys. So just training with them did that. And then Jason Manley. Do you guys know Jason Manley? He's a local guy here. Yeah, the black dude. And he ran for UC Berkeley. And he's like, you want to get in shape, Gil? I was like, hell yeah. Let's go to the track. And he had me doing 400s and 300s. And I felt like there was no sprint harder than a 400. So when I get prepared for fights, like a big thing I do with my fighters to this day, or what I do is I do 400s, 200s, 300s, and I do like sometimes 800s. To me, those are like the toughest sprints. Anything over like that is not a sprint, right? You could sprint one whole lap, but if you're like, oh, I sprint, well, you could sprint a mile too, and guys can keep a hard pace, but you taper down, right? Yeah. So like we're sprinting a hard 400, and that's the only time I get like, my legs are sore, my butt cheeks are sore from running.
The 400s is 2 laps, right?
1 lap. 800 is 2 laps.
Okay.
And sometimes I'll do that too, an 800 for time. You're like, all right, if I can break 3 minutes, or if I can get a minute on my 400, I know some guys easily break that. But I tell my fighters, hey, hit under like 110 or something like that. You're doing good. 125 is like, you're not really sprinting. You got to you need to find that I'm breaking 110, 1 minute, really fast people under that. And that to me, that's like the first minute of a fight.
Bro,
because nothing can really replicate that.
A lot of fighters don't understand that you have to sprint in MMA. I can tell, like I was watching my friend AJ McKee fight this weekend. I could tell, like, man, I could be wrong, but it looked like he hadn't been doing sprints.
Mm-hmm. Sprints bring out a weakness in you like nothing else.
Yeah.
I dreaded it.
It's like it's the worst thing of the week. One day a week. You're like,
what's wrong, Lou? You got hurt ball from Colombia?
Damn.
Sorry.
Hey, damn.
Excuse me.
What happened down there in Colombia, Luke?
Traveling. But no, sprinting is the worst. There's nothing worse than it's scary. You're doing 10, 14, like you're praying for 10.
Oh, hell yeah.
You get 14 sprints, you're like, just panicking all week. It's nothing like it.
I was excited for sparring.
It makes the man out of you.
Yeah, I'd be dreading sprints. I'd be like, I love sparring, but I'd be dreading this. I go there and I just feel that like in the stomach, like, oh, I hate this, And honestly, you don't have to even go too long, like warm up a mile and like sprint like, mile to 2 miles of sprints or something, 400s, 100s, 200s and stuff. Cause like you're out, like your legs are out, you're done. And you give yourself the proper rest too. Like you do the 400 and then you let your body recover completely. You don't do a 400 and then like do another one in a minute later because you're not there. You do a 400, you wait 3 minutes and you're like, oh, I'm back. And then you do it again. You know what I mean? Because you got to let yourself charge up. So that's how you get ready to have that hard output. And then later on, you'll do the sprint jog, and we'll do like intervals of it. But that's how I get ready. I'm like, okay, if I can replicate the first minute of fight, if someone wants to go toe to toe and we want to start pushing, let's do a 400. And then after that, everyone's tired, but you know, it's in the fight, you're like active rest. You look like you're like not tired, but you're like, oh, God damn, please don't come over here. Don't come over here.
Don't come.
How embarrassing.
God, everything in wrestling is horrible, dude. Everything in wrestling is, I can't even talk.
But I mean, it's known that you guys have incredible cardio. I mean, Nate Diaz talks about it, and a lot of people obviously who watch him can understand that this guy just can keep going and going. Nick was the same way.
Yeah.
Did you guys have a lot of sparring sessions where it just kept going for days and you guys, you know, last man leaving the gym?
Yeah, we had sparring sessions, but we kind of like we'd go long rounds sometimes in grappling and do that. But again, like I'm not training to fight like 40 rounds. You know what I mean? A lot of guys are like, oh, I trained 4 hours today and I sparred, 25 rounds. I was like, well, maybe you didn't spar very hard. Like I'm like, let's get in there and we're going to go full throttle 15 minutes because that's how you get ready for a fight, right? If you do, I did 4 rounds, but you're like tit for tat, you're going to fight like that. And then when someone comes at you to fight, you're like, I'm not ready for that pace. I trained for tit for tat, but if you train for like full throttle and you go full throttle on someone, and there's like some like at your peak when you're like, I would say with preparation comes confidence, and when you're prepared and you look across and you're like, I'm gonna go 25 minutes full throttle, and I think you'll fall first. Not based on like skill, but just on like, I'm down to endure whatever, and I'm gonna push you and I'm gonna break you and I'm gonna see who breaks first, and they know it sometimes. They're like, damn it, this guy's ready to come and they're ready to take whatever. And I think that's like a big weapon. And what's amazing about that is like courage is something you have to have, of course, but like endurance. And endurance is very hard to get, but very easy to get. It's not like this hard science behind it. It's just like, you got to go to the track when you fucking dread it and you got to do it. You know what I mean? But it's easy to say, I'm hurt today. I don't want to do that part,